All right, welcome CSRL Week 8, the final race of Season 6. We're here at Monza. Jay with me for our final race of the season.
Hey, how you doing?
It is good, man. So the Season 6 all wrapping up here. It's been an exciting, fun season.
Yeah, it's definitely been a closer season than I think many of our other ones. So that's
Closer and overall, minus this race, we've had really strong attendance every race this season. I think this by far is our lowest with 14 guys um, for the final race. So still
well,
enough
hey
to
man,
have fun.
I'll take 14 over 9 any day.
Yep, yep. And I think last season we had points where we would have been happy for 14 in a lot of the races. So so it is good. Um, Yeah, go. We got Pedro qualified on pole. P1 Pedro. That was quite the qualifying effort from Pedro.
Yeah, I mean, I unfortunately didn't get to watch quali, but from what I've heard, some of the guys are pretty rapid around here.
Yeah, I was impressed. I'm gonna try to see if I can pull up. I'll see if I can get this. I don't know if I'll be able to share it on the screen, but at least
I mean, I think we had
get some of the times.
some 48s. A couple people broke those in quali, and that's it's not a 46, but
Hmm.
nobody here is just some ungodly alien like that.
Yeah, yeah. So for quali, we had uh five guys in the 48. So Pedro 148.7. Kyle Tillman, also give Kyle some props here too, because he was P2, excellent qualifying from him, and he was just 100th behind Pedro. So he was a Pedro 148.722, Kyle 148.732. Then we have Doherty 148.975, Alvarez 148.992, and Jesse Albert 148.995. So super close there with the top five.
Yeah, this is a track that usually gets a lot of play. Um, I remember when I used to frequent the online public lobbies, there were no shortages of Monza and Spa.
Never.
Usually the only two races you could find. So it doesn't surprise me that there are some guys here who seem like they've got quite a bit of practice at this track.
Yeah, no doubt.
But it's definitely good to see Doherty up so far. Um,
Yeah,
has
definitely
not,
top qualifying of the season, I think.
yeah, has not had the greatest season. Um,
No.
some uh, some some issues. I do believe the last race.
Some issues, and just overall, I don't think he quite uh, thought. I think he, going back to the Aston, I think he had higher expectations for himself, thinking this was a car he actually really is comfortable with and likes to drive. As the last couple seasons driving some different things with the, I think, Audi, and then 2 seasons with the GTR. So I was thinking he'd go back to this and do better, but really hadn't been the case. And I think that's a combination of just the guys here getting more competitive and faster too. It takes a lot of work to try to stay to the front.
Oh yeah, I'll second that motion.
Except for now, we got some naturals. Like David Macedo's starting to get to the point where he just shows up and is fast. So, all right, we're getting ready to. I still got a little ways here.
Yeah,
Still
I
got to
was
hit.
gonna say we're getting ready to
Yeah, yeah.
wait about another
Wait.
4 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the full formation lap, I'm a fan of. There are a few tracks where it is just painful.
Mm.
Spa and Monza are the two that feel like they go on forever. All right. Looks like everyone's coming out of Alboreto right now, so
Here we go. Fingers crossed. Everything crossed. We survived turn 1.
yeah, T1 Retafilo it's rough, man.
It
I I have
is.
I have never seen more murders than I have in public lobbies at Retafilo.
Yeah, it is definitely has the highest kill count of any turn in this game. If they had stats online that track that, it would
Yeah,
as popular as this track is, combined with as dangerous as that turn is, especially public lobbies. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's got a pretty high
no
KDR.
question. Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I will absolutely bet everything I own on that. So Tillman has managed to squeeze out in front of Pedro. We saw the two of them were very, very close in qualifying, so
Yeah, there's a few places that NSX I think is going to have a better time than a lot of these others. Lesmo 1 and 2 for one. I mean, that's just seems like a mid-engine car's dream going through there.
this part I think would
Ascari
scare
though.
me. Yeah,
Oh,
Ascari is not one I would be wanting to drive the mid-engine car through, but yeah, Tillman handles that perfect.
yeah. After 1.8, driving the Ferrari, I started calling it a scary because it's frightening.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
everyone's.
they renamed this. It's been Parabolica forever, but they
Oh, it's
named it
not
Curva.
Parabolica now?
No, it's Curva Alboreto.
Son of a! My race. I literally have my race notes. Final turn parabolic. So,
No, it's
well,
Alboreto now.
I obviously studied the wrong book. Okay. And we've got Massey moving to the outside. Normally see people grabbing that inside position into turn 1. He chose the outside position, trying to get alongside. And ooh, looks like
Yeah,
he kind of turned in a bit to life there.
yeah, that was just a little bit of an early turn in there. But hey, everyone survived, so we're
Yeah.
I know, right?
And it's lap 2, so
Exactly.
no lap 1 premium there.
Yeah, nobody died. We're
You
doing
know, we
good.
got 2. Albert made it past
Ooh, and Mike is
Doherty. We got to go back because he made it past and we missed it looking at Massey. So, yeah, it looks like Albert's going to have that Honda, that speed down that long straight. He's able to get into Doherty's draft and he's gonna choose the inside line here, and he holds it. Looks like Doherty backed off a little bit extra just to be safe.
Yeah, it looks
But
like Jesse just about made that corner.
yeah, he
That was
had it.
close.
Yeah. Oh man. And
Whoa! Looks like
yeah,
Ken got just a little bit.
did we don't
I
have the
don't.
HUD? I'm wondering if John let off the brake looking in his
He did.
rearview mirror. That's what it looked, right?
Yeah, I think he saw Ken coming and just sort of.
John with that awareness. And that might have saved him if we go back and watch this. Like I said, I wish we had the way to see. But yeah, oh yeah, he even hits the gas. Look at that.
Yeah, he saw it coming.
Yeah, what awareness. All right, let's go back. We got to see because this was close. Wing cam, right? This should be a good
Oh
view.
yeah.
It was definitely close. Yeah. If John didn't goose it and let off, I think it can. And the hard part for Ken is that's Ken's on the outside. All he could have
Yeah.
done was, I mean, really like go into the grass, which he probably would have hit the wall and slid back on track into John, or he could have dove inside, but that would have also probably resulted in the we always know how that goes when you try to you don't brake and you jive inside, you always end up hitting the guy. So that was
yeah,
rough.
it's that whole what's the saying? One in the hand's worth two in the bush.
Yep.
You know, you know you're gonna cause a problem if you stay to the outside. You think it might be better if you cut to the inside, but it could also
Never
be
is.
so much worse.
Yeah, usually does not work out cutting to the
No,
inside.
it
And
does
you
not.
always want to jump to the outside. That was just one of those rare occasions where you got the wall and a thin strip of grass where trying to pull outside might have not been able to do it. But yeah,
Well,
he survived.
so this is one of those tracks where you've done enough public lobbies. A lot of guys have learned to drive in their mirrors here. I know my first season here, if anyone even looked like they were going to miss the braking zone, I was just going straight. I mean,
Yeah.
there was no
Yeah.
way. T1 was always real sketchy. So any of the hard braking zones here, I'm in my mirror constantly, just making sure the guy behind me is not gonna give me a surprise colonoscopy.
Ooh, Doherty goes
Oh
wide.
yeah.
That's gonna. David's gonna go through. So it might have been a situation where David was starting to bear down on Doherty, and Doherty tried to brake just a touch later, which never works.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you get a little pressure behind you, and you're maybe in your mirrors a little bit too much, too worried about what's going on behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Just missing your braking zones ever so slightly. Yeah, it's insidious. All that time adds up. A tenth a turn here is like what? Almost a second a lap. So
Yeah. And then talking about someone bearing down on someone, we got Alvarez getting on Pedro. And I don't think he's going to be close enough, even with all that Honda speed. Wow, almost looks like Pedro was pulling on him. It's hard to believe, but
yeah, it makes you wonder how much wing Pedro's running on
I'm
that.
gonna guess to be zero. If
Yeah,
the
right.
Honda wasn't pulling in on him, it had to be zero. Oh, check. I got.
Swapped out for that Lexus engine.
Yeah, we got a close. So Life, Unkenko, Massey, all really close, and then North, right on the back of Taylor as well. White Cell now has reached the back of Doherty, and he has John and Cerna right behind him. So there's a lot of close racing here so far. Got some close groups of cars.
Yeah, that's not something you normally see at a track like this. It usually spreads out pretty quick. But yeah, it looks like there's a swath of guys there that are
Similar
all
pace. Yeah.
all within a second of each other, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it looks like Massey got back by Life. Let's see what happened.
It looks like Lesmos, one or two. Oh, yeah, life
Yeah,
just
yep,
touched that inside wall there. That's really easy to do through that first les mount.
yep. And it looks like he kind of saw Massey close in and maybe gave the inside there.
I don't know that he gave it.
You don't think?
I don't think that was his intention.
Mm.
I think he was trying to make that corner. Just
Just a little late break.
yeah, just couldn't quite keep it on the track there.
All right, so back up to the front. Tillman's managed to pull 2 seconds ahead of Pedro at this point. So Tillman looking good out front. We'll have to see if he keeps extending or not. We know, Pedro and him very close in qualifying. So when it comes to outright pace, they're both similar, but maybe Tillman might be a little bit more consistent with it. We'll have to see. But right on Pedro, he has Alvarez breathing down his neck.
Yeah, I think that's probably Pedro's main concern right now is trying to keep Alvarez behind him.
Oh, and that's
Which I mean,
Pedro's specialty.
yeah, it's doing Tillman wonders though. I mean, the longer that Pedro's in his
Ooh,
mirrors.
I saw White Cell. Oh, and David made it past Doherty as well. I see David now in front of Doherty.
Well, I mean, it's good to see people obeying the barriers there, not just blowing through them and coming back on the track in a safe manner. That's Cerna, I do believe, trying to go for the inside there.
Yeah, thought about it. Not a good one.
Yeah,
Not
that's
an easy one to try to pull off.
no. Delarage is pretty hard. You can do it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Lesmos aren't easy either. Unless someone makes a mistake. This is where if you can get the better run out, but it does not look like that's going to be the case. It actually looks like Cerna slid a little bit through there and lost some traction. So
yeah, Lesmo 2, that's a puzzle box I have never been able to figure out. I don't know what it is about that corner. I'm just allergic to it.
it's a stressful one, man, because that's one of the ones that frequently will bite it. Oh, yeah.
Ascari strikes again.
Yes, it does. I expect we're gonna see that a bunch today. It's a killer, and especially with these mid-engine cars.
Yeah, you just get up on either this inside curb or this outside
Which is exactly
curb.
what happened there.
Yeah, take too much of it, and these cars just bounce like crazy.
Good thing is where he lost it, was able to get back on. Didn't lose too much.
Yeah, that straight after you just absolutely just screw that corner is just one of the most shameful times I've ever had. Just going down that straight, losing time, just being like, wow, why did I do that? Why did I do that?
Oh, and Tillman goes, no, is
okay,
glitch?
well.
I guess a glitch. Now his car's going back across the track. It takes out Pedro.
Pedro. Oh, no.
And,
yeah,
Pedro's rolling
that looked
across
like a hardware issue of some
Yeah,
sort.
I don't see his car even moving. That's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like his game maybe hung. And when it came back, he was unable.
Yeah, he's
Unable to stop it.
Not moving.
That is rough.
That was rough. I don't even know what this is gonna look like from his point of view with the glitch. This is just the replay. It's not what he saw. I'm sure if the game just crashed on him or, but yeah, you can see it's just
Oh yeah, that's. I mean,
completely
that's rough
froze.
for
That's
both
terrible for
he and Pedro.
Pedro. Oh, poor Pedro too. God, he
Yeah.
was having a really good race P2, and really, he was just one mistake away from being in first, and the mistake that happened, well, it wasn't a mistake, it was a glitch, but what happened to him, he had just out of nowhere.
Just
God, I
out
can't
of
even
nowhere.
imagine. He probably sees him go off track and knows his game crashed. He probably saw him go into the stadium, but didn't expect that. I've never seen that happen in the game. That is
Yeah, that's a new
insane.
one for
Who else
me.
was through here? Jesse. He was close. I think he's going to have a front row seat to this.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
oh, gentleman
Dodged him.
coming out of hyperspace there. Just
Good. Well, so that's going to shuffle things up. So that's the two top guys are now going to be either retiring from the race or going to be in the pits for an extended period there. So Alvarez now takes the lead with Jesse following behind.
yeah, about a 2-second gap. Yeah, that's rough. I mean,
Really, really rough. Oh, and there's another one through a scar, another mid-engine car. Huh. Jeez.
Yeah,
So brutal.
that's what we call a passenger slide. Really, all you can do is just look around and hope no one hits you.
Yeah, Ken just probably like, please don't snap back too fast on me.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, that's something, especially if you're going into a scary near somebody else.
Mhm.
I mean, you always got to be on the lookout for that.
Yep, and that let some Kinko by as well. And as Scott was still didn't have any speed down that straight from his spin out. So Kinko gets by as well as Ken.
Yeah, like I said, that straight after you screw that corner is just rocking back and forth in your seat.
Ooh.
Just hurry up, just hurry up.
And it looks like Starty getting.
Oh, looks like Macedo's pretty slow for some reason.
Yeah. Sidardi gets in front. Oh! And they're going to have a drag race here. Looks like David has
Well, he's definitely got the shorter route.
Fitch. It's going to be interesting because the next turn is the left, but it's not really a good one to go side by side. Okay, so Darty backs out. I
Yeah,
was going to say that does not fit two cars through there very well.
Yeah, if you're supremely confident and you trust the guy you're going in there with, you can make it happen.
You're going extremely slow.
Yeah.
I think John would have passed them both if they would have even tried it.
I mean, I'm sure he'd be fine with that.
Oh yeah, I think he was probably hoping for that.
And that Bentley just looks like absolutely on rails through Ascari.
It does. It does. You know, the front engine guys have it much easier on this track. Not that I've seen them, those kind of cars lose it too through there, but David is gonna go wide.
Way wide for Alboreto.
And Darty, we'll see if he manages to hold it this time. Doesn't like John's going to be able to get by. Doesn't quite have the speed at the end to get alongside of David. Yeah,
No, it
that
seems
time
like
already holds it.
John favors more downforce. So
Mm-hmm.
on tracks like Spa and in Monza, doesn't really benefit from that lighter weight of the Bentley. I mean, the thing's chunky, but
Not
it's
as
actually
chunky as it looks.
yeah, it's on the lighter side when it comes
Yeah,
to
that always blew my mind about that. Oh, and David,
oh
late getting turned, slowed down and turned in through there, and that's gonna let John. That's about the only place this turn. If you can get into that section inside of someone, you can overtake. But if you don't in time, it makes it hard through the rest of it. So yeah, John looks like he backs out and kind of just waits for the next opportunity. Wasn't quite close enough to pounce there.
Yeah, it looked like perhaps maybe David was running a little too far back on the brake bias there. That almost looked like a snap under braking.
And John looks like he's. It's like he starts to pull in, but then David starts to creep away from him.
Yeah, that's the higher downforce for you.
David does a good job of getting the Aston accelerated out of there. I was curious to see if John was going to gain a lot of ground through there with that. Aston's not the best accelerating out of first gear at a slow turn. But
the slow, is that anything like the true?
It is.
Yeah, and Lesmo 1 is a place I found that there's a ton of time to make up. I don't know what it is about that corner, but if you hook it up just right.
No, you're right. Especially that second one, and then if you can, you got all that speed down that kind of midsection that it takes you into Ascari. Yeah, you see John, it looks like he starts to pull, right? But then David will just maintain and then even start to pull away.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting to see the setup differences and what people go with and how the cars react.
Yeah, it's looking a lot like David doesn't really have a setup that can handle Alboreto all that well. A lot of understeer coming out of that corner.
Ooh, so close there.
Yeah, and you can see the Aston starting to pull on the Bentley there.
Yeah. And good driving by David. He manages, I mean, good driving by both of them making it through there, but David managed to still carry a lot of speed. And like I said, that Aston, its strong point is not battling out of turns and stuff. It's really got terrible acceleration and turbo lag, so he is doing his best to hide that car's deficiencies through there.
Ooh. Running a little bit wide through the first Lesmo there.
Yeah, and you can see, I mean, John gets on him, but there's just nothing. Like, this is where it's really hard. Like, unless you can get definitively alongside the guy here, you're gonna end up taking him out. Like, if you try to take an inside line through there.
Well, knowing John like I do, he He's not much one for trying to make passes in corners. He's very much a get it done before the braking zone kind of guy.
Yeah, I don't know too many people who could have made something work there either. So to his,
I would have tried it. I mean, it probably wouldn't have worked, but I would have tried
I was
it.
gonna say I didn't say there aren't too many guys who would try it. There's a lot of guys who will try it, but I don't know a lot that could make that work from the position where John was, where he just wasn't up alongside enough to really establish that inside line and hold David to the outside. He would have just ended up probably understeering into him. But as much as John keeps pulling on him, you know he's going to get a good chance here. It's just he's got to get to the point where he's able to make that kind of a better exit or something where he's gotten a bit where he gets alongside enough to make a clean pass. But he keeps getting chances, so you feel like it's going to come if this stays. And this is helping Doherty start to kind of get away from Macedo this time because of Macedo falling back into the hands of Jon Snow. So it's definitely working in his favor. And it doesn't look like he's 1.7 behind Jesse, and Jesse 1.6 behind Alvarez. So we'll see both of these guys if they're able to gain any ground. And also with John and David battling, it looks like Whitecell's now kind of made it into the mix with with the two of them.
Yeah, it's kind of inevitable. I mean, when you're sort of slugging it out with a guy, you're bleeding so much speed, so much time a lap, upwards of 2 seconds. So getting caught from behind is, I mean, it's something you want to avoid. You want to try to get whatever you're trying to get done as soon as possible to not put yourself in that situation. But
dude, John's gonna go pit.
He's pulling the early pit maneuver.
It has worked well for him all season. So this will be interesting thing to see where he comes out, if he gets in front of David, and if he is able to get in front of Doherty or not from it, and if he's able to stay in front of Whitecell.
Well, that gigantic Bentley not taking up his entire rearview mirror might leave David a bit more brain power to concentrate on on trying to close that gap. And...
For sure. For sure. I always feel much better when I don't have someone in my rearview mirror, especially someone like Jon Snow. I mean, when you get those super consistent guys on your tail, it's even more stressful because you know the chances of them making a mistake aren't going to happen, and it's going to take you trying to outdrive them to stay in front.
Yeah, it's a lot like hoping the tide's not going to come in today. I mean, it's an inevitability.
Yep.
It's gonna happen. So.
And with some of the guys pitting and everything, one of the closer battles right now is Taylor behind Unkinko, this will be the battle for 8th place right here. Both of them taking it very easy through Ascari.
Well, yeah, after his drift session earlier, I'm sure Scott's a little wary.
So we said we were watching. So before it was Doherty, it was Albert 1.7 behind Alvarez, and Doherty was 1.7 behind like Albert. So Doherty's closed in on Albert. I don't know if maybe Jesse had a mistake the previous lap, which put him closer to Doherty and a little back from Alvarez, but
Yeah, it looks like that gap's back up to 1.2.
Yeah, starting to pull away again. It might have been what it was a little something with the Honda doing Honda things.
Oh, yeah, something we haven't really seen much this race.
Is it a Honda 1-2?
Well, just the Honda not actively trying to murder someone.
It's
It's
true. Because
been
Tillman,
relatively calm.
true, because Kyle's was not murdered. The Honda, that was the PC given out. Uh, so it wasn't a Honda thing.
I mean, unless of course the Honda's what caused it.
We'll check it on
You never
Cerna.
know.
Yeah,
Never know.
never do. Let's see what. So snow out the pits. Front of Cerna. Cerna's.
Ooh, just a
Yeah.
little bit late on the brakes there.
And we were talking about Taylor making it up to Unkenko. Kenko's made it up to Ken North right now. So battle for 6th, 7th, 8th. Well, that was nice job getting through there by Unkenko. He definitely gained a little bit extra time.
Yeah, it looked like he was pretty late on the brakes too.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really driven the McLaren around Monza, so I'm not really familiar with how well this thing does in some of these hard braking zones. But it looks like about the 150 is where he was braking, maybe a little bit later, and broke a little bit late in that last one too.
And through the Lesmos, it looks like Ken was able to gain some time and pull away a little bit.
Yeah, Unkenko did have a bit of an issue through Della Roggia anyway. A little
Just
wide
slight,
through that
yeah,
first corner.
which then screws you for the next one with that chicane if you're.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of,
I had to let off there.
Yeah, that was a scarier than usual Ascari.
It was, but that's the right thing, right? Let off, be safe. He's, if he would have had something happen, Taylor would have definitely been by him, but it might have cost him where he dropped a little bit back from North, but he'll not lose control of the car. So it looks like Doherty pitted as well. So this always comes to be the fun part, to try to figure out who pitted and who hasn't pitted. But it looks like Alvarez, Jesse, anyone in front of David is not pitted, because we all know David hasn't pitted. I don't think Whitecell's pitted yet. Like, not sure. I don't think Ken has either. So I think the group out front right now all hasn't pitted. I think everyone ahead of Doherty has not pitted. Everyone below has.
Yeah, that means that Doherty's going to have to deal with John here eventually.
Yep, more than likely. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So John showing 6.6 behind Doherty right now.
Oh,
Now
7.1.
So, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye here. It'll also be interesting to see once, because who was John behind? He was behind Jesse, wasn't he, when he went
No, he
to
was
pit?
behind David.
David, that's right. So it'll be interesting to see if he, when David pits, or Jesse pits for that matter, and White Cell, to see where they come out related to, in relation to John. Yeah, because he was. That's right. White Cell was behind John, and David was in front. You're right. So we'll have to see. So back to.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I clenched a bit there. That was almost pretty bad.
Yeah, it looked like same thing too. He had pulled back on Ken North, and then little scary moment, and then had to Ken kind of started to pull away. But each time, it doesn't look like Taylor is closing in on him much either. I mean, Taylor's right there, but he's not on his bumper yet. So.
A little bit tidier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that McLaren just avoiding all those curbs like the plague.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of changed my tune on the Ferrari. I think I kind of miss it.
Like a toxic ex-girlfriend.
Kind of, yeah.
You're starting to
A little
forget.
bit.
You're starting to forget how it slashed your tires and
Yeah. Burnt all my
through
clothes.
all. Yeah, you forgot all that.
Put my pets in a pot of stew.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was really good for a couple of races, and you know, eventually that's all you remember.
So Jesse's leaving the pits. Trying to see where he's at in relation. I wish I could
Looks
see
like
the
both
track.
Albert
Oh, here
and
comes
Alvarez
Doherty.
have pit.
So Doherty gets by him. Is John? How far back? We'll have to see because this is all. Where's John at? Oh yeah, so John's close, but so okay. Albert looks like came out a few seconds ahead of John, and a couple seconds behind Doherty. But showing Doherty behind Albert, I think it's just a timing thing. And there it goes. Yeah, it just fixed itself. So.
And did Alvarez come out just in front of Mike?
And Alvarez did. I don't know about just in
Okay.
front. It's showing 4 seconds. So yeah, he's got a. If this is right, he's showing just under 5 seconds ahead. So.
Well, I mean that
Keep an eye.
puts Alvarez, Doherty, and Albert net first, second, and third after everybody does their pits here. Because everybody above Alvarez is still yet to pit.
Yeah, White Selm see there's still no pitting.
Well, we know David's not going to pit until there's.
Yeah, so we're at the 32-minute mark of the race. Pits close at 40, so just under the 8 minutes. Just kind of poke around and see where the guys are at. So It looks like North has started to finally kind of pull away from Okinko. And then Okinko has started to, he started to pull away from Scott Taylor as well. So these guys were really close to each other, and they've started to space out. I think let's check into White Cell. It's like 3 seconds behind Macedo. So these guys go another lap, no pitting, but like you said, we weren't expecting David to pit quite yet.
So does that mean Ken has just pit?
Nope, Ken's still out
No.
too.
Okay.
Kenko, Taylor is gonna pit.
Okay.
We know Alvarez already pitted, so.
Hey, who knows? Maybe he'll get a wild hair.
Darty would like that. He'd love for Alvarez to take another pit, whether that's a drive-through or.
And John's now about 4-6 behind Albert.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on this. What do you remember what it was before? Did it show a timing last time?
I think it was about 5 seconds.
Okay,
5-ish.
so he has started to pull in on him.
Albert looked like he went a little bit wide through Alboreto. Couldn't quite get it turned in. Seems like a lot of guys are having trouble with the last corner.
Yeah, sometimes it can happen too if you're either get on the gas a little too early, you'll start to push yourself out wide, or if you're braking a little bit late and don't get inside enough.
Oh yeah, that's my jam. That's my resting state. Braking a little too late.
It's a turn that invites you to brake late. Like it's one of those ones that you feel like you're either braking too early, and then you quickly realize once you start braking too late. But yeah, it's one of those turns I think you always feel like you can get a little bit more out of, and to maximize it, you really want to maximize that exit speed out of there because it takes you down that whole front straight, right? So it's super crucial to try to get as much speed out of that turn, whether you're carrying it through the turn or trying to maximize what you exit it with. And it's one of those ones you'll see different guys take kind of different approaches, I've noticed too. You see some will run it super wide out of it, like almost to where you're barely on track limits, running over the curbing, and I've seen other guys stay super close to the inside.
Yeah, I've always been a hug the white line on the inside on the throttle before the end of the curbing.
It'll be interesting. We can watch some of the guys here. So you see he's kind of mid. We'll see what Scott does. He's approaching it next. Scott a little too wide. Yeah. I don't think what he was trying to go for there. Life.
Wow, that was pretty decent.
Yeah, takes it.
Looks like maybe a little snap under brakes there.
But he's going to take it out to the curbing. Not over, though. Yeah, to watch. I always like watching the different guys go through there, though. You'll see just everyone taking different... Oh, no, Ken, drive through.
Oh, no, Ken. Oh, no, Ken.
Oh, you know what? White Cell
pit. And he's now behind John.
Yeah, I think John looked like he was out in front.
Yeah, John got past him.
Yeah, so this must have been his outlap after coming out the pits. He's probably just a little bit colder tires too that didn't help. John had been out a few laps, had his car tires up to temp and all that.
Well, I mean, you get yourself into a rhythm, and
Yeah, John.
that's not a typical move for John.
Was it almost? It almost looked like maybe he might have kind of just. Yeah, it was like he broke super early, almost where he was letting John just get by real quick, I think.
Yeah, maybe. I was gonna say that's surprising if that's a move John went for, because he's usually not the kind of guy that likes to do the whole.
Yeah. As he proved, because that was the same. It almost looked similar to where David before, where he backed out and didn't go inside when he was behind David Macedo through there, and I do not expect the Bentley to have the run on the Honda like that. So something had to have happened to Jesse. Hate to do this to Jesse, but I want to see what happened.
I think there's probably going to be a little bit of a.
Yep, Ascari.
Yeah, coming out of that last part of Ascari, I think it's going to be a.
Yeah.
Yep, too much curb.
Yeah.
It's the Honda doing Honda things.
Yeah, he's had.
Usually when you see a guy going that slow down the straight, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, I knew something was wrong. I was like, there's no way John would just be pulling on Albert that much on a straight. So.
Yeah, now Albert's going to have front end damage, aero damage, maybe a little bit of a suspension issue. Just bleeding speed everywhere. That's rough.
That is. So now Snow's showing 7.4 behind Doherty. I think that was roughly what he was at before all the people started exiting pits and getting between him and Doherty. So he didn't lose too much ground.
Yeah, that I do believe that is due to some traffic coming out of the pits in front of him. But I mean, it's all working out for Doherty here.
Oh, it is. And then he is. So I do think Alvarez is pulling from Doherty though. It's showing 3.9. I think earlier we were looking at it. It was 2 something or maybe 3 point something. But it does look like Alvarez is pulling on him. White Cell still pretty close to John. Albert right behind him, so we'll stay on board with White Cell for right now.
I'm not going to argue. I love the way this car sounds.
Here, let's see. So we'll ride through these guys going through this turn to see if they all take it the same or different. Yeah, I feel like everybody takes it pretty similar here out of this group. And Albert's going to go pit, so he's going to get that damage fixed.
Yeah, I don't really think you got much of a choice. It's either take the hit and get it all fixed at once, or possibly end up suffering 4 times as much time damage over the course of the rest of the race.
So it looks like either through pits or out on the track that Taylor made it past Onkinko. It's now showing Taylor in 8th and Kinko 9th. Oh, so Macedo out the pits. So Doherty again's going to kind of luck out. He gets another guy in between. But I don't know if you call having David behind you any better than having John behind you, honestly. So.
Well, I mean, personally, my strategy would be back David up into John and just let them slug it out. I mean, Alvarez is gone. Unless you got a couple 100 kilos of ballast in your car, you can just drop.
Yeah,
I
it
don't think
looks. I
I don't
agree.
think you're catching Alvarez.
No, it doesn't
So
look the way. 4.2 now, so it's just one of those things where it's slowly etching a couple tenths or a few tenths each lap, and it just starts to add up.
yeah, just race your race until the guy behind you starts getting a bit closer, and then go in defensive mode and just back him up into the guy behind him and let the guy behind him solve your problem for you. Man, on Kinko and Taylor have really been kind of trading blows.
Yeah, it's we were watching the same thing from the other point of view, but Taylor was kind of struggling to really reel in Ginkgo in. He was hanging with them for a while and would fall back and then kind of get back, but it looks like Kinko's kind of reeling him in here and might be able to make a move here in a few turns. Kinko, nice through here. I think he's going to gain a little bit more through that section.
Yeah, if you can really figure out T1, I mean, you kind of have to sacrifice the entrance to T1 for the exit. A little bit slower in than you would think, just so you can get that straighter exit out of 2. I mean, right onto that little straight, that's almost more important.
Yeah, definitely so. Yeah, I know one of the things you talk about is going into turn 1 is trying to fight the urge to turn in too soon, to try to set yourself up for that late turn into turn 1 and then have the better line through the second part of that chicane.
Yeah, that's the thing you see a lot of guys do, is just dive immediately for that apex, and it feels fast, but it's a trap. It'll feel fast all the way up until you run into the curb on the outside of the track just before T2.
Okay, so looking back to the second and third, so Darty now +5 behind Alvarez, but David now 1.7 behind Doherty, so he is really caught like a second on Doherty since we were last watching. Might have even pulled a second on John too, I think. No, not quite. Yeah, I'll tell you what too, David is a strong, he's one of these guys that will set his best lap in the last, section of the race. He's a guy that kind of is like wine or whatever, gets like better with age. Like the longer the race goes on, David just seems to settle in. I think talking to him, here you go. This is a different line through there. So David, you can see, takes it more up on the curve on the outside. That's kind of what I was talking about, where you see the different guys coming out there. But back, I was thinking with David is David kind of attributes some of that from talking to him about his late pit strategy, right? So Darty's now got 5, 6, maybe 7 extra laps on those tires he's running. David, because he pitted a lot later, a much fresher tires at the end of the race. So he decides to kind of save his tires, take it easy through the first, half of the race, and pit as late as possible to really get the fresh tires that he can try to abuse and get the most out of on the final end of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. I hate to do this, Mike. I have to run for like 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Okay, I will try not to freeze and stammer. Alright, so Kenko has, let's jump back to him because is still super close, right behind Taylor. You gotta feel like either Taylor's gonna kind of succumb to the pressure, or Kenko's gonna keep just reeling him in naturally and have a chance at making a move here. And coming up to Ascari, this is always a good opportunity. The guy either in front or behind you is going to wipe out. Both of them survive this. And they're just super similar in pace. Does look like Okinko might have the slight edge. Oh, Okinko kind of late braking there. I think that's going to give Taylor, I have to imagine, a lot of speed going on the front straight. So Okinko won't have a shot at trying to make a move into turn one. Definitely going to be way too far back for that. Jump back to Doherty, or back to Macedo on Doherty, that's what I'm trying to say. So 1.6, it's, I think, reeled it a little bit more, but showing 1.5 now. And we'll see how Doherty takes Parabolica, or we don't have Jay here to correct me. I'm calling it the wrong name. So yeah, Doherty takes it real wide rides. I think similar to how we saw, was it Taylor or Okinko take it. Oh, I had to let off just a hair, you could hear. Check back on Jon Snow. So he's showing 6.3 behind David. Yeah, David just...
Yeah, it definitely looks like he's pushing.
edging.
Definitely looks like he's pushing.
You have not missed anything. So we still have Okinko right on the back of Taylor, and David sitting at that 1.6 or so behind Doherty. Ooh, Taylor. Sliding it through the first Lesmo one. I'll tell you what, man, Taylor, he's handling the pressure of having Okinko over the back of him. It is not like forced him into a mistake at all. Been watching, and he's been super consistent. And Okinko does start to pull on him, but Scott's not making any mistakes and eventually manages to edge back out a little bit. So their gap's been pretty consistent. Yeah, he did.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's a brutal place because you lose speed and you're carrying so much less down this straight.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet you Unkinko's kicking himself right now.
But hopefully you can close that gap back in. We've got about 8 minutes left, so I'd love for have some excitement here. Some close battles. So Ken had the drive-through earlier in the race, so that's why he's back in 11th. I can see starting to pull in on Massey here for 10th. I know he hates having the drive-through, but would still love to be able to finish in the top 10. So he's got just about 8 minutes to try to work his way up to Massey to see if he can make a move before the end of the race.
Yeah, and there's David, just getting closer and closer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, still sitting about that 1.6. We saw he actually dropped back to 2 seconds and then started dwindling it back down to 1.6 again over just about a lap or a lap and a half. So, and David and Jon Snow right behind David, still sitting right at about that 5.5 second mark.
Yeah, knowing you're getting hunted down is not a good feeling.
Oh, never.
I mean, I don't want to curse it, but it's looking pretty good for Doherty here.
Yeah, he's managing. It's like well, I won't say he let David, but David started climbing back on him. I don't know if it kind of forced Doherty to not let up and try to, go at his hot lap pace and to try to stay in front or what But ever since he got it down to that, they've been pretty consistent where it looks like sometimes Doherty will pull a couple tenths and David will get it back, and it's been going kind of back and forth with that. And Kinko has worked his way right back up to Scott, so he fell back to, I think it was like 1.4 seconds after he had that little loss of rear end grip there through the final turn. While you were gone, I was calling it Parabolica because you weren't here to correct me.
Okay.
And I wasn't going to try to stutter and try to remember what the hell it was actually called.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you. I find myself wanting to call it Parabolica all the time.
It's a better sounding name.
Yeah.
Sounds cool. Alright, so did Ken make it past Massey? Oh, yep, that is what happened. Right on board.
Yeah, looks like a bad exit out of Lesmo, too.
Pedro right there, too.
Looks like Massey might have just let Ken go. Instead of trying to go too wide through Ascari.
Fellow Audi driver.
Yeah, right?
Let him through.
The Brotherhood.
That's right.
Brotherhood of the Traveling Audi.
Alright, so back to these guys. And
just looks so deceptively slow from up here. Going through T1, T2. Definitely feels a little bit more frantic in the car.
Ooh, closing in. Took that really well.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little deep in there, but
yeah,
he managed to pull it off.
Did. Yeah, bravo to Scott, man. He has managed to be consistent here. This is how nobody wants to spend the last, like, quarter of the race. Just want to relax. You don't want to have a guy
Right.
breathing down your neck. And Scott's had that this whole, almost second half of the race with the Ginkgo.
Well, speaking of having someone breathe down your neck,
Ooh!
this
He's
looks like
cut it.
Macedo's within a second.
He has cut it down under a second.
And it looks like
John?
Doherty may have had an issue because he's now 7 seconds behind Alvarez.
Yeah, we weren't watching, but he might have made a little mistake somewhere. Now it'll be really interesting now that, you know, David's definitely going to be showing in his rearview mirror if he gets pressured into making any other mistakes. Not everybody can be as cool and calm as Scott Taylor is with the
Yeah, and you know, Iceman. I'm just gonna start giving people nicknames, whether they want them or not. Scott Taylor is definitely the Kimi Räikkönen of the group.
Yeah, I always like this kind of thing too when you get two guys like Doherty and Macedo both driving the same car and battling, because it kind of shows you, you know, when it's the same car, it's all driver at that point. Though I do think there's a setup difference, because it does, just like we were seeing earlier with David, I think he's running a little bit maybe more downforce than Doherty.
Not just downforce. It looks like he might even be running a little bit more of a stiffer rear end to sort of get some rotation. Because that Aston's looking pretty twitchy. And it's pretty tough to get the Aston looking twitchy.
And so are we... on the penultimate lap right now, it looks like.
I do not envy Doherty right now.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and Antinko's still about half a second behind Taylor as well.
Ooh. David pulled a good bit there. Yeah, now he's under the half-second mark. Watch, just checking back on these guys. Yeah. And David.
Oh. And I think there we saw a little bit of that rear, the twitchiness in the rear end of that Aston.
Yeah.
He got on the gas and just
Yeah.
lost it.
Yeah, that might have been.
Yeah, unless he can come. Unless he can come in with a really like a stunking lap right now, I think the opportunity may have flown.
Well, there's another thing too. Doherty had miscalculated his fuel, and he's not running a lower fuel map. He's still running the race map, you know, the max, you know, speed map, but it's gonna be very close to if he actually can manage to finish with any gas.
Oh no.
So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But like I said, he's not dialing back the fuel map. He's gonna go all or nothing to try to stay in front of David.
Might as well, man. Might as well.
This is the section David really seems to catch him on here too through Scary. Although I think at this point he couldn't dive too hard, with just nowhere to go with it. But yeah, once again you can see he closes in on Darty there. So
Well, no crazy send into the last corner.
nope, I'm pretty sure this was it. I don't want to switch. Yeah, there's the smoke. This is it. And
there we
he
go.
does. So Darty does manage to finish. I think you'll hear the car die.
You're right at the gas,
Yeah,
right there.
it literally
right
at the finish line.
Oh,
It was.
man.
So
That
John,
was close.
4th place. White Cell come around in 5th. Good race from White Cell. He's been pretty consistent this whole season, finishing up within the top 10. So another race for him. Cerna, pretty good race. Finishing 6th. He's got to be proud of that.
Yeah. I mean, he's had a pretty rough season. So, any finish is a good finish.
And Taylor, 7th place. Nice. He manages to stay in front of Okinko. Yeah.
Hot on his trail there.
Good job with those two. And Life finishing in another race in the top 10 for Life. And then we have Ken, who did manage to get in front of Massey, so he was able to secure his top 10 finish. And Massey finishing just outside the top 10, 11th. But I think he's had a couple races now in 11th. I think we talked about that before. So good job, Jesse. I don't know if he's out of gas or just taking it easy.
Just taking her easy, I think.
Just taking.
I mean, kudos for Jesse.
Hell yeah, the whole season.
Taking it out to the end.
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
It would have been super easy to just give up after that little excursion through Ascari, but stuck with it. It's nice to see.
Yeah, no, I mean the whole season Jesse's been great. Even the times where the cars, he's had some great races with that car, and quite a few where the car just is the one beating him. And yeah, he's always stuck with it and just remained positive the whole season. And I think sometimes you try different things, it doesn't work out, but I think he's still had a great, still had a good season and still had a lot of fun and has been a great sport about it. All right, so final race, I guess we'll do driver of the day, then I can pull up the point standings for the championship.
Well,
I'm going
with Doherty. I mean, that's his best qualifying. That's his best finish.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to see something finally pan out.
Yeah, especially last race of the season. It's always nice to have something kind of work out when the season hasn't been what you wanted and you get to end on a high note. That's a good thing. It makes you look back on the season more fondly when it's like that. Versus starting off good and then going to shit. So, that is good. I'll give mine to I'll give my Eric Alvarez. He came back. He came back at Nürburgring. Was his first race back. There was some incident, and I think he had also kind of started from the back that race. So he wasn't really trying to compete to necessarily win. This race comes out and just great performance from him and securing a win again for this season. It's a competitive group, so to come back from not racing and jump back in and manage a win is is a great feat. So I'll give my driver of the day to Eric.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
All right, well, that is it. Let me pull up the standings. I don't know. Do you have them in front of you, Jay? I can share my screen so we can kind of talk about. Uh,
I do not.
okay, let me share. Then I'll put these on the screen for everyone else. But so here is our season 6 standings. Um, Jon Snow, we talked about it, the previous week that he pretty much at this point locked it. Where I think even if he didn't race this race, he was still going to win the championship. So Jon Snow is officially our season 6 CSRL championship winner. Congratulations to John. Um, David Macedo is runner up, second place. It's another. He's had a couple of seasons in where he's had second place finishes. So another second place finish for David. Great job. Uh, Miguel Torres, third place in the championship. He and it was tied with Alex Moda. So both of them third place. So congrats to those
Nice.
guys as well. Both of them impressive too, because Alex and Miguel had missed more than just one race. This season, it was the only thing that counted was 7 out of your 8. So your best 7 races out of the 8 races this season is what counted towards the points. Both of those guys missed more than just one race. I think it might have been like 3 races. So good to see both of them finish so high, even considering. Congrats
Yeah,
to them.
absolutely.
And then Ken, reliable Ken, man. He's just always up there. He steadily has good finishes. He's shows up to nearly every race. He finishes just 8 points back. And they're gonna get 5th place this season. So good job for him. Kyle, man. So we had the two teammates, Kyle and Jesse, both had their ups and downs with the Honda, but Kyle did manage to finish this season 6th place. Great job to Kyle. And he managed to. I know one of the things he was trying was going into this race was to finish the season ahead of Pedro because they were so close in points. I don't think this is how Kyle wanted it to happen by taking Pedro out with that game crash, but because of that happening, it secured him staying in front of Pedro. Um, so he's going to finish 6th, Pedro 7th. Doherty going to be 8th place with 93 points. White Cell, first season racing with us and finished within the top 10. So great job to White Cell. I forget what race he first started. I don't think he was here for all of the races either. So he's still
No, I think he came in race 4, maybe.
so almost halfway through the season and still managed to finish top 10. Great job, White Cell. And then Jesse, through all his ups and downs, still managed to finish in the top 10, tied with Kumar. Both of the Kumar missed several races as well. We were talking about Miguel and Moda missing races,
You
but
know,
both of them
I
finished
don't
10.
I don't think Jesse would mind me saying this. He did have some ups and downs, but unfortunately with the NSX, they were mostly downs.
Yeah.
It was not the easiest car to handle this season. I mean, you could definitely tell that both he and Kyle were struggling with it. And once again, just kudos for sticking it out. I mean,
Hell yeah.
it's it is a horrible, horrible feeling to be stuck in a car that is just not doing it for you. It's so easy to just give up, but stuck it out, you know, rode out the last race, and I mean that's kind of what we want to see around here, you know,
Yep.
the whole the old stick to it attitude, I guess.
Yeah, that's what we like. I mean, plus it's like no matter where you finish, right? We're all racing with each other, having a good time. It's, um, you just have fun with it and do your best with it, and there's always next season that you can switch cars and switch to something that suits you better. Or you can make another terrible choice and pick a car that'll kill you. Whatever you want to do. I mean,
Yeah,
some people like life on hard mode.
yeah,
It's
yeah. Go
also
with
and
the pack.
also it's credit to people like Alvarez who can just drive that Honda and you know that I don't get it.
Well, it's a couple seasons with it under his belt.
That's
He
true.
kind of,
So are
kind
you
of.
are you saying it just takes a couple seasons? So you're saying that Kyle and Jesse should just stick it and do one more season? Is that what I heard
Yeah,
I heard from you?
if you're into that kind of thing,
Sure.
sure. I personally
I
am not, so I
oh
think
man.
I'd move on.
Yeah.
The sunk
I know
cost
I don't have that
fallacy.
kind of patience. I know I would
Yeah,
I'd
no, no way,
so
man, no way.
yeah. Um Yeah, I'm excited to see what some of the guys come back with next season and what their choices. I know talking to Cerna, he was another one of the Honda drivers this season that didn't really love the fact that he went with the Honda. Um, he's talking about switching cars next season. I think hinted towards the Merc possibly. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what guys switch to come season 7. Also, we have our GT4 unofficial whatever off-season event. So the guys who want to take a break and take a 4 weeks off, relax, or 4 or 5 weeks off, relax before the start of season 7. Do that. But those who are still itching to race and gets keep having some action. We do have the off-season mini series with GT4 cars, and it features a reverse grid race. So there's 2 races. The first race is a 15-minute sprint race that's based on a 15-minute qualifying session. After that race, the outcome of that race for race 2, it is the reverse finishing order of race 1. So the guy who finished first now starts in last for race 2. The guy who finished last is going to be in pole position for race 2. And it's a whole lot of fun. We ran this last off season. The guys really loved it. It's really, we're not going to be doing any broadcasts for it. We don't going to have any kind of stewarding. It's really just for fun. There are points, and it's going to be like a championship season. However, it's like I said, just for fun. But it
Yeah.
is a lot of fun. So if you're interested, please join us. And I think you have the sign up details. Well, you can go to SimGP, but also on the Discord, you have a GT4 channel, right?
Yes, yes. I've tentatively named it GT4 Series 2 Electric Boogaloo.
There we go.
So yeah, it should be there and visible. Everyone should be able to go ahead and click on that, and there will be a little SimGP link button at the bottom of the post. Should take you straight to the championship section, and make sure you're logged in and
Oh,
get
and
a get,
there's
get signed up.
and I have the flyer up on the screen too for the broadcast. I tried to give it that electric boogaloo look to it to go with your to go with what you named it. So tried to capture the spirit.
Oh, that's nice.
All right. Well, Jay, it's been a great season, man. Second season of us doing this together. I think when Nate stepped down from doing the broadcasts and we kind of like, well, I guess we could try. Um, wasn't sure how things would go, but it's been not saying us to do a good job, but it's been a lot of fun. I think you do a hell of a job, but it's been a
Well,
lot of fun and I'm enjoying it.
we might not do a good job, but we do a job. So that's all that matters.
Yep, yep. Well, thanks everybody, and I guess look forward to being back calling these for a season 7, man. We'll enjoy our 4 weeks of not having to set up time to record this.
Yes, as much as I love it, it'll be nice.
Yep, yep. All
That's a
right.
resounding yup.
Uh-huh. It is. No, it's a lot of fun, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's nice to have some time off. All right. Well, we will see everyone either with us for the GT4 mini series, and otherwise we'll see you back for season 7 hopefully. Thank you, and appreciate everyone who made season 6 as great as it was. So thank you everybody that raced with us.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Jay.
Yep, thank you.
All right. See ya.